That's actually a great meat gun right there. That used to be my meat gun back in the lower 48. The 280 Remington. Still one of my favorite rounds. But let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Can you tell which is my favorite Alaska round though? Yep. The 338 odd 6 A square. Takes everything. Caribou. That was a nice caribou. I gotta get another few. But I love this round. If you hunt elk, large bear, 180 grains, really doesn't start get going until 200. 250 and 225 are my favorite. Oh yeah. 338 odd 6. If you haven't had a copy of the guide 8 or 9, grab one. I did the intros for both of them. So what I'm going to be talking about today is something you should be aware of. Because as I've always said, if you homestead, you definitely want to be into reloading. And if you're not into reloading, I would highly suggest getting the gear and getting the knowledge of how to reload. Reason is that if you already have a homestead or you're planning on getting a homestead, you have to deal with a lot of things that relate to being able to either protect or provide food through the use of firearms. And in an upcoming episode, I'll talk about what are my favorite cartridges for use on a homestead. I think it might surprise you. A lot of people, I think they get overgunned. And then sometimes they get undergunned, especially depending on where you live. But what I'm talking about today, and why I titled this episode War Pigs Coming to the Homestead, is that the war pigs, aka the military industrial complex, is going to be taking more and more of your powder to the point that you won't be able to buy smokeless powder because it's all going to be going towards the war effort. And it's interesting that even the gun press, I don't know if you're aware, but as you could see in the chapter, the intro that I did for the 338-06 in Nosler's reloading manual, that I've been in the writing business, the gun writing business, basically since 1994, when I became the last outdoors columnist for the Times of San Mateo County back in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I've been writing about hunting and fishing and the outdoors since then. And I've been amazed at how the industry has changed. I mean, you had flipping back and forth, of course, during the GWAT, when a lot of supply went into that effort and basically made a lot of money for the MIC, or the military industrial complex. Well, now they're trying to do it again, but the difference is that the economy is so screwed up right now that my feeling is that people are not buying as much powder as they were before, because there was a big rush, as you recall, over the last 3 years. A lot of it was politically inspired, and a lot of it was political fear inspired. But now we're actually getting into real supply issues, to the point that various smokeless powder manufacturers are not producing product for the civilian market, for the commercial market. That it's actually been stated by the VP at Vista Outdoors that their powder run is going to be going towards specifically Alliant is going to be going towards the manufacture of artillery shells and propellant for the projectile. explosive projectile. So what we're going to be dealing with, I mean, this happened during World War II, right? The difference is we had so many resources during World War II that we do not have now. It's either been wasted over the last 60 years or it's been redistributed to the point that anybody who has been purchasing ammunition, I mean, a lot of people have been buying ammunition, right? But how many people have actually been buying reloading equipment and buying the components for reloading? And I got into reloading way back when I was a teenager in the 70s because my father was a Korean War Marine and he went through the Great Depression. So those who went through the Great Depression learned how to reload cartridges just from a cost point, right? And here we're in a situation where supply issues are going to go into an even greater tailspin with what's happening with the war. My view is that within the next 90 days, and based on the research that I've been doing, that we're going to be in a full-on kinetic war with Russia. I mean, it's been amazing that Putin has been trying to keep out of it and just focus on Ukraine. But we have been repeatedly jabbing the bear, baiting the bear. And this last issue of this administration saying it was okay to Ukraine to use our missiles to shoot them into the motherland of Russia, which is totally insane, has opened up the door to Putin coming back, and now there are ships in Cuba. We're back to the early 60s, just before I was born, where there's mutually assured destruction was the terminology used back then. But we at least had people back then who wanted to save the United States instead of destroy the United States. And they're doing a damn good job. They've been doing it economically, and now they're going to do it kinetically. So if you haven't already, I would highly recommend that you visit your local gun store and purchase whatever powder you can find. Purchase whatever components you can find. There's already an issue with projectiles, getting bullets. That's already been an issue for a lot of people. And please comment below. I'd like to hear what it's like locally in your area. A lot of the news that's been coming out. I mean, this was back in January, but during SHOT Show, they were talking about how China was like the 30% of the market of potassium, which is that one? Yeah, no, excuse me, not potassium. The nitrocellulose. So the nitrocellulose, 30% that was in the civilian market was coming from China. And so they've stopped making that available because they don't want us creating ammunition to be going against Russia, right? So whatever is here in terms of supply is being snapped up by the MIC. And that snapping up will increase. So whatever powder that's available at your local store is probably what is going to be what's last available. So if you have not gone down and picked up as much powder as you can get, all that IMR, all that BLC2, CFE, H40, 38, 30, 31. It's a lot of powder that is kind of like a standby. Like 30-06, you run 38, 31. What do I have up here? Big game. Go get that big game. I use a lot of big game and Hunter from Ramline, from Ramshot. And then like the H430, 4350. I don't use too much for Tumbo, but Varget I'll be using a lot this year. I'll be pumping out Varget in 9.3 by 62 and 4064 and 760. Yeah, Winchester 760. That's a good one. What's another one up there? Yeah, that's pretty much my standbys. And then I got the other ones. Let's see. Yeah, 4831, 4350. So go see what you can find. If you can find it, buy it. And store it. Secure it. Primers, CCIs. If you're lucky, go get them. CCI 200s. Get large rifle. Get small rifle. Magnum primers. Highly suggested. But anything with a propellant in it, I would highly suggest going and picking it up. Because I see it becoming harder and harder to get these components. And if you don't have them, and you've got a homestead, and you've got to deal with varmints, predators, going out and getting a deer, shooting a pig, shooting a bear, shooting a moose, shooting a caribou. You got to have a bang stick to do that. And if you don't have anything to put in the bang stick, you're going to be hungry. Or your chickens are going to get eaten. So head on out and let me know. Please comment in the comments. Comment where you are, what state, what part of the world you are. Let me know how hard or easy it is for you to get components. Canada stopped producing too. So I'm curious to see you folks over there in Canada. What are you getting? Or what are you not getting? Comment below. And again, like, subscribe, and share. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you much for the help. Talk to you later.